Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to another daily dose of Satoshi's News. Today's date is Wednesday, the 11th of October, 2023, the year of BSV. Buy BSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Let's get into it. So again, the drama never stops in Bitcoin. My goodness me, there is stuff going on every single day. So this is the first article that we'll go through. So this was by an article by CoinGeek from Jordan Atkins entitled Craig Wright appoints leading law firm as new counsel. All right, well, let's see what they've got to say about this then. Dr. Craig Wright has appointed marketing leading tech law firm Shoesmiths to take his UK litigation as he gears up for a packed legal calendar, signalling one single-minded focus, victory in January's joint identity trial, where parties will argue over whether Wright is the inventor of Bitcoin. That trial will have a significant impact on all the UK lawsuits where Dr. Wright's status as the inventor of Bitcoin is an issue, including lawsuits against Coinbase, Kraken and BTC partnership for illegally knocking off digital assets as Bitcoin. If Dr. Wright successfully satisfies the court that he is Bitcoin's inventor, then he heads to the trial in January. Those other cases will have to abide by the ruling. On that basis, it makes sense for Dr. Wright to assemble the best possible legal team as he enters the final months before trial. This becomes even more obvious when you look at the newly appointed firm. Shoesmiths is renowned for its work in technology and particular Web3. The firm won TMT Technology Media and Telecommunications Team of the Year at the Legal Business Awards in London 2023, in particular for its global work with Web3 and Metaverse. The firm came away with Firm of the Year at the same awards in 2022. Both Legal 500 and Chambers UK, the leading UK law firm rankers, have Shoesmiths' IT and technology team ranked number one in the country. It has advised global brands on NFT campaigns, digital asset issuance and intellectual property matters relating to Web3 and Metaverse projects. Well, that's quite an accolade. There's much at stake in January, not only for Dr. Wright personally, but for the wider digital asset industry. If Dr. Wright emerges victorious, and based on his track record, there's every chance that he will win, then the rest of the industry will have to conform to the fact that large swathes of it is built from the theft of Dr. Wright's intellectual property. BTC will become unviable more or less overnight. Well, it's unviable anyway because it's economically worthless and contractually illegitimate. What with its reputation being built entirely on its perceived connection to the Bitcoin described in the original white paper. Exchanges, not just the Coinbase and Kraken defendants, but any entity offering assets improperly bearing the Bitcoin name, will no longer be able to offer that asset under the name Bitcoin without Dr. Wright's permission, which means they will lose out on the billions of dollars worth of fees they have been skimming off BTC economy since their founding. If Dr. Wright pushes for an accounting of all of the profits made by these exchanges through the violation of Dr. Wright's intellectual property rights, then they can expect a substantial bill on top of a lost gravy train. Between the high stakes and now the appointment of Shoesmiths, it's clear that Dr. Wright is focused on one thing: winning. Great stuff. I mean, I can already see the narrative changing in influencers and in magazines like this. It's absolutely hilarious. So check this out. So now they're actually trying to combine Bitcoin with COVID, like I actually did in one of my videos, but we'll go over that in just a second. But this article is by The Economist. It's absolutely laughable. Did Bitcoin leak from an American spy lab? Like, what? And it says no, but the theory is spreading online. So an American spy lab, what laboratory, like a COVID laboratory? Like what is going on here? This is hilarious. So I haven't got membership here, but it says the origins of COVID-19, there we go, it's mentioning it, remain unknown. Really? Well, the Muddy Waters report is pretty clearly states that that is incorrect, and people absolutely know where the origins came from. Most scientists think it jumped from wild animals to humans at a meat market in Wuhan. Well, that's been completely debunked now and is utterly untrue. But it is also possible it escaped from a virology research lab in the same city. Now a similar argument has broken out around Bitcoin, the first and most used cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's accepted origins is that it was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto, a pseudonymous coder who published the paper describing it in 2018 before later vanishing from sight. I mean, this is just absolutely hilarious, combining the two. So this was the video I put out saying COVID-19, what's the connection with Bitcoin? I'd recommend everybody watch that because it's fascinating. Evie and I myself, I was just like, wow, that's actually pretty good. And here we've got this. It's a shame. I actually used to watch this guy, Chico Crypto, and now he's literally just going along with a narrative. Oh yeah, so who is Satoshi Nakamoto's true identity? You won't believe who created Bitcoin. Again, now it's all going, oh, it's a government, it's CIA. So they're basically just trying to turn people away from Bitcoin now, rather than encouraging it. It's absolutely pathetic, but laughable. When you know what's going on, they're just like, oh right, yeah. So initially we want everybody to buy Bitcoin because it's their line was it's anti-government, it's blah, cypherpunk and all this rubbish, and now it's just oh actually it was created by the CIA and you don't really want to have anything to do with that, because it's government controlled and blah 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 blah. Honestly, it's just absolutely pathetic. But check this out. So the @Satoshi handle on Twitter has now got 99.6 thousand followers, and the latest post has got 170,000 views here. Crikey, and look at this one, 680,000. I mean, my goodness me. Jeepers, 608,000 views. I mean, it's growing. And again, these claims underneath it are actually probably drawing more attention to the post. He claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but he hasn't proven himself. He's a fraud. Blah 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 blah. All this crap. It just reeks of desperation because, we know exactly what's gone on. So if we know the truth, it's not going to take long for the truth to come out. And then continuing with the CSW and Copa saga, let's just have a quick read of this. Well, actually, this is to do with W&K, so it's the Ira Kleiman case. So it said, breaking, this is from Diego. Well done, Diego, doing a great job here. CSW crushing victory on October 10th, 2023. Conclusion, Kleiman versus Wright, federal court. The order found that WK has not shown by clear and convincing evidence that the information provided by Dr. Wright is currently inaccurate. I mean, the wording here is really... they're trying to make it's negative after negative after negative. So what does that mean? So initially they go, so W&K has not shown by clear and convincing evidence that the information provided by Dr. Wright is currently inaccurate. So in other words, it is accurate because it's not inaccurate. So they haven't shown that it's not inaccurate. So in other words, they've shown it's accurate. It's full of stuff. It's full of language like this. It's really unclear. I mean, sometimes I think they might have done it on purpose. So another one here says, I agree with Dr. Wright that W&K has not met its... Again, it makes it sound like W&K hasn't done something. So I agree with Dr. Wright that W&K has not met its burden of proving that the July 24th form fails to comply with the compulsion order. So in other words, it's not met its burden of proving that it fails to comply. So in other words, it has complied. In particular, W&K has not shown by clear and convincing evidence that the information provided by Dr. Wright is currently inaccurate. I mean, it's hilarious. So in other words, it is accurate. Nor has W&K shown that the required information was omitted from the form. So they haven't shown that it was omitted from the form. So it wasn't. Honestly. And because W&K has not shown, they've not shown non-compliance. So in other words, they have shown compliance with the compulsion order. There is no basis for coercive civil contempt sanctions against W&K. I mean, I think they've written it like that on purpose. I mean, it's just, I had to read it a few times. I was like, hold on a minute, they have not done this, that shows they haven't done that. What is this all about? I did find that quite amusing. But continuing with the, stuff that's going on, this guy is still at it, Christian Egerhansen. I don't know what he's trying to prove by... basically airing all the... Well, it's not really even dirty laundry. It's private material. What a private company does and what people do in their own private affairs, and how they structure things, is up to them. I mean, does anybody know, how the elite structure all of their put all of their possessions in in a trust which belongs to another trust which belongs to another trust which is in an association and all this kind of crap. So I don't really get what I think he's just trying to publicly humiliate and embarrass the guys at Enchain and Calvinaire and Craig and all that. I mean, I don't see a point to it. I think he's just bitter, twisted, wasting his time. Okay, I mean, breaking and of public interest, really. How's it of public interest? Regarding Calvin and Craig, Indigo IP Holdings Limited have, under a number of years, supported DW Discovery Selection Fund Limited, the secretive majority owner of Enchain Global. Well, so what? With funding according to several sources. Okay, well, who cares? Honestly, who cares? Who knows what he's going to do? He's just upset. Like he said, I'm upset, I'm hurt. In his interview that he did on Twitter Spaces, but worth reporting on just because he's not stopped yet. The next bit then, so this is kind of interesting. So this was in relation to Bitcoin Mindset, who's going, well, say goodbye to your altcoin. And again, this is actually really quite funny. So BitVM computing anything on Bitcoin. So this chap, Robin Linus, has basically found that Bitcoin is Turing complete and you can do smart contracts on it and stuff. And it's just like, well, yeah, we already knew this years and years and years ago. And it's like these BTCs are so behind with the times. Like they've been hoodwinked so badly. Like they didn't know this. So anyway, he said, goodbye to your altcoin. And then Fletcher has said, unfortunately not. You'll run into the back to Genesis issue after this. Providing a transaction is a descendant of another isn't possible without running into exponential bloat. And without that, no tokens or true DeFi apps. And Shadows went on to comment on that. And then after that, he said, used Enchain patent invented by Yingchain. My point is that you don't need it and get better functionality if you implement as an opcode. It won't happen on BSV, but any other blockchain can do it. Good response here. There is no point in any other blockchain doing anything, as they're all economically worthless security offerings and are nothing more than private, centrally controlled databases. Yeah, that's the whole point of Bitcoin. It's the only way you can commoditize data. And the only way you can commoditize data is through the Bitcoin protocol, which just simply now has the ticker symbol BSV. There is literally no point in any of these other chains existing. It's a shame that devs and techies don't really sort of understand the economic and lawful side of things, really. And this was just a link that I'd found here. To the... so Bitcoin News has said here... new release of the white paper on BitMV, a computing paradigm for smart contracts on Bitcoin. Yeah, these more expressive smart contracts enable functionality that was previously believed to require a fork. Is this an altcoin killer? I mean, this is so funny. We already knew this. And there's videos of Craig actually saying this back in 2015 at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I think I've got it right here. There we go. Check it out. Here we go. Let's turn this up.
And he was talking about the limitations. But in machine code, there's none of these limitations. And in fact, we have a rather rich instruction set in Bitcoin. It's just not well defined yet. And then the next part is we have the Ethereum going out there saying we need to build a new stack because we can't loop. But no one seems to realize that Forth actually does loop. You have to use a separate control stack. It's not like a lot of code forms where you actually have a single stack. Forth and Forth-like languages use a dual stack architecture. So everything that we're talking about in derived contracts can actually be done directly in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin protocol. It's just going to take time for people to understand it.
Since you mentioned Nick, then I'm going to allow him to respond to that. You need your microphone though, sweet, or the water.
No, that I have not heard that opinion before. I've never heard anybody call the Bitcoin script Turing complete. I don't believe that's accurate.
He just said you're wrong.
The difference is the script itself isn't. What you can do is you have in forth a control loop. So the looping function is separate to the actual loop, the script itself.
Yeah, I mean that's an esoteric thing. If it's not Turing complete, then it's not a general purpose language like Ethereum, regardless of
but that would
that
assume
partial
that the only way of actually
type of
writing code would be to do it directly in a script that runs on the machine.
Okay, so do you have another option?
Well, this would be a good topic for you to write a paper on, because that's certainly an unconventional view you have.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's telling them there it loops. It is Turing complete because it loops. There is a loop in the control stack, is what he was saying. And this guy, Hector Lopez, seems a little bit confused by this, because he said, looks like Robin Linus proved that Craig Wright was correct back in 2015. Bitcoin is Turing complete. As Craig was saying. And he responded here to a tweet from Xiao Lu, and he said, was this possible? A year ago, we just discovered Bitcoin is Turing complete. Like, it's literally like the BTCers are literally just finding this out. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. And then the guy who's written this paper called BitVM Computing Anything on Bitcoin, and he wrote that on October the 9th, so it was just a couple of days ago. And he concluded it by saying, Bitcoin is Turing complete in the sense that encoding fraud proofs in large tap trees allows to verify the execution of any program. A major constraint of the model outlined here is that it is limited to two-party setting. Hopefully this can be generalized in further works, blah, 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 blah. And then he's saying, in response to everybody commenting on his, commenting on his work, saying, "Oh no, what did I do? My notifications are full of fake Toshi fans now. Well, fake Toshi fans of Craig Wright that already stated what you've just written in your white paper back in 2015, and you're only figuring out now in 2023." It's absolutely hilarious when you know what's going on. So we'll leave it there. That's quite a good show. Quite enjoyed that one. That's 17 minutes. We'll leave it there. And remember, the largest court case in financial history, which is the Cabal masquerading as COPA, calling themselves the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, versus Bitcoin, which is Dr. Wright, the inventor and creator of Bitcoin, on the 15th of January 2024. Stay tuned. We'll bring you more. And until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.